Oh, hi everybody. It's meteorologist Joe Cioffi here on this Monday, June 11th at 2 minutes after 7 o'clock. I think you may have guessed by now why there were no live streams this weekend, and that's because somebody lost his voice. And I still haven't gotten it back, but I've actually made some progress today. I sounded like Minnie Mouse at one point yesterday, so it's gradually getting there. I haven't lost my voice in a long time. It's got to be years, but I don't know what precipitated this. I'm doing everything I can to get through this. I gargled with apple cider vinegar, which is wretched stuff, but it seems to at least bring it up to the forefront here. I hope you can hear me. I'm going to try and get through this as best I can. And I had a wicked bad cold, and then the cold ended, but then all of a sudden the voice went. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on today. Welcome everybody that's on board, and thanks already for the kind words. I really appreciate it. The clouds today started out with that cloud line just north of New York City, but you could see on the visible satellite loop that those clouds gradually sunk southward. And in fact, if you look at southeastern Canada, you can actually see more clouds pushing southward. So that's how strong the northerly flow is aloft and how dominant it is in the eastern part of the United States. It's in the cool 60s this evening. We're going to see temperatures down in the 50s and even the 40s in some of the cold spots tomorrow morning over parts of my area, northeastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, on Long Island and the Pine Barrens, and in Connecticut and inland areas in the Hudson Valley. Waking up to 40s on Tuesday morning. But Tuesday's going to be an absolutely fantastic day with wall-to-wall sunshine. So at least we have that to look forward to. South of this frontal boundary, by the way, remains warm and humid. You can see that there are showers and thunderstorms running up through Florida. Also have still some leftover precip over parts of the coastal Virginia, North Carolina at this point. Eventually, this whole frontal boundary is going to come back, excuse me, northward as a warm front, and that might bring some showers here and some thunderstorms running around along about Wednesday, but, you know, we got some time before we get there. So tonight, we've got some severe weather going on, fairly large area of risk for severe weather, and we have a tornado watch up in the red box currently covering southeastern Nebraska, northwestern Missouri on up through the western half of Iowa and southern Minnesota, and a very tiny portion of southeastern South Dakota. Also, you can see the marginal risk that extends from there southeast toward the southeastern states, or north South Carolina, where we do have some thunderstorms going on there. Some showers and storms over parts of Florida here. Looks like some between Port Charlotte and down to about Naples, or somewhere in between there. Looks like we're seeing some showers and storms, and also on the northeast coast, north of Daytona and south of Jacksonville, a little bit of activity, and some scattered thunderstorms across the Gulf states, which is usual, the typical late afternoon and evening stuff that goes on there. Let's bring up where we're going pattern-wise this week, because we do have a bit of a break in the pattern that has been evident in the eastern part of the U.S., and we can. I'm going to show it to you on the paint box here. Let me just bring that up full screen so it shows up a bit better. And there you have it here. So what's happening is that the trough in the east, and you can see it just off. This is for Friday, early Saturday morning, 2 a.m. I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. There's going to be there are going to be a couple of short waves reinforcing this flow in the east to take us through the end of the week. Except for Wednesday, the weather this week should be fine, and Tuesday looks good. Wednesday, clouds and sun with showers and thunderstorms, and there's even a marginal to slight risk of severe weather for parts of the Northeast on Wednesday. But Thursday looks dry and warm, so does Friday. And then the weekend, we're going to see something that we haven't really seen here in a while, and that is the development and the building of this upper ridge in the midsection and extending eastward. It's just beginning to get into the Appalachians by Saturday, but this is going to allow for some very warm and humid air to come eastward. In the meantime, the flow, this northwest flow, at least going into Friday, is going to keep humidity levels relatively reasonable, even though temperatures are going to be on the warm side. The other thing we want to look at, too, is that there is going to be a weakness in the Gulf of Mexico. We've been talking about this for a while through last week, and the Hurricane Center is actually acknowledging that there will be disturbed weather, that it will eventually develop, and only calling for a 20% chance in the 5-day forecast range, because models, which we're starting to come around to this idea, the weakness of the upper trough seems to be shifting a bit further west, so there's much more interaction with land with this system than there was indicated earlier. So that makes it a little bit problematic with regards to whether the system is going to develop. The other thing is, you'll notice also, is that we do have what is left at this point. Whoops, that wasn't supposed to happen, but all right, let's try this again. I'm going to try to bring the hang on. Nope. New. And hang in there, folks. I'll bring it up one more time. Copy. And all right. I'm going to bring this upper air view up one more time for you. I want to look at what is going on. If you look down here to the southwest in the lower left corner, we do have what represents at this point what may be left of Hurricane Bud, which top winds are 120 miles an hour. It is forecast to head toward the southern tip of the Baja Peninsula later this week, and it may get there as a strong tropical storm, or maybe even still a minimal hurricane, depending on how it reacts to water temperatures and the land masses and so on. Usually you don't see storms impacting this area early in the season. You usually start to see that happen deeper into the season when you get storms in the Pacific deep in August and September. But doesn't mean it can't happen in June. And with this trough in the west, you're going to wind up bringing that moisture up into the southwest. So if this does hold together to some degree, this may actually be a big plus for this area in getting some rain, because conditions there are extremely dry. So I think we're going to watch for that possibility going forward. With respect to where our weather is going this week, we'll bring up, and I'm going to do it a different way. Let's try it a different way. Let's bring back the window here, and it's hang in there, folks. We'll get there. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to maneuver this in a slightly different fashion. We're going to take, I'm just going to double check to make sure that you guys can see what I can see, and there you go. Okay, so starting with the surface map, and I'm going to go back to the beginning. This is the new GFS that is just out. Again, I'm just trying to make sure you guys can see. I want you to be able to at least see the date and time on this, which you can. So as we move through this week, here comes Wednesday's warm front, cold front combination, and it's from this that the Storm Prediction Center is forecasting the possibility of severe weather. It has a slight risk through New York State and parts of Pennsylvania, marginal risk just west of New York City. But on the lower corner at this point, you should be able to soon see what is Hurricane Bud, and it is going to continue on its course to the north. Looks like at least this run of the GFS does try to keep this as a minimal hurricane as it comes ashore, but that moisture does get into Arizona and New Mexico. These are areas that have been extremely dry and also into parts of Utah and Colorado. So this could be an important development. At the same time, by the way, I'll roll back, but you can see there's a little surface low right in here that the GFS revs up a little bit as it heads towards the south coast of Texas. With everything shifting further west over the last couple of days, it does, again, probably limit the scope of development. It does at least bring up the moisture, however, so there is going to be some rains coming into Texas and Louisiana into the western Gulf. Again, I'm going to be very interested in the outcome with potential rainfalls in the southwest because of how dry it's been there. Meanwhile, in the east this weekend, high pressure off the mid-Atlantic coast, a west wind, a fair amount of sunshine. It should be a very warm, summery weekend. Temperatures well up into the 80s. Maybe some spots could get close to 90 on one of those days before the next front pushes through in early next week, and the next high builds down as that part of the pattern continues. Still going to probably see some tropical moisture coming into Florida, and by later next week the west is dry. Just want to show you, by the way, when we go to look at the upper air and what we're going to see over the long haul, and we'll pick up North America. That's usually the good shot. And let's see what it looks like for you. Okay, great. So looking at the upper pattern across North America, you are going to see, in general, this trough in the east that starts off in the east starts to pull out a little bit, and I'm just trying to adjust this so you guys can see see everything as well as I can with the dates. You can follow through the middle part of next week. You can see there's a big upper high that sits up in northern Hudson Bay, separating two vortexes, a trough in the west, and then now a trough over Greenland and in the North Atlantic. So that replaces the blocky pattern that we were seeing. You still have somewhat of a northerly flow that extends down into the mid-Atlantic states at the end of the week, but then that finally lifts up. Ridge builds in temporarily into early next week. Then you start to get more short waves coming down, and that again will probably prevent it from getting hot here for more than a day or so. I mean, it may wind up getting very warm to hot for a couple of days, but I just, I still don't see anything with respect to any kind of a heat wave pattern. So you can see that my voice is struggling here, and I don't want to go too crazy in terms of the video lengthwise. It's a bit of a struggle, and hopefully in another day or two my voice will come out a bit better. Reaver, I appreciate the kind words. I really don't get sick that often. I sometimes, going back and forth, the driving, it just takes its toll, but this is usually it's for a day or so, and I kind of work it through. But this cold was really went through me, and I got rid of that part of it, and now I got this this voice issue, which again hopefully goes away. T-Bear, complete washout in northeastern Pennsylvania. I know, it's amazing what we struggled with last week with these models, just going horribly back and forth with the rain, no rain, rain on Saturday, not on Sunday, rain on Sunday, not on Saturday. Saturday turned out to be a pretty good day for most places, but it was just it was one of the last vestiges of having to deal with that really unstable blocking pattern. Bud doesn't go into California; it does go into Baja California maybe, and I think the moisture goes into the southwest where it's sorely needed. So that'll be something that we're going to watch and watch closely. Ruru 25. I just finished my second cup of ginger lemon honey tea. Okay, believe me, it's better than it was. So thank you. I'm going to have another cup as soon as I'm done here. Southern California also is it very dry? I don't know if it is. It probably is to some degree, and I don't know how much of that rain is going to make it up that far west. But certainly in for eastern Arizona and points eastward, there will be some probably some much needed rain through all of this. All right, so look, folks, I'm going to call it a day at this point. Thanks very much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm going to bring myself back up full screen. Sorry about that. That's what I forget. I try to use this window program to let the maps work a bit better and give me more options, but I got to get myself a little sticky note that says, you know, when you're done, bring yourself back up full screen. Okay, we're going to attempt the Joe and Joe show tonight at 9:15. It's if I'm still walking. Otherwise, it'll be tomorrow. So you tune in on my Facebook page, meteorologist Joe Cioffi. I think we're going back to, you know what, I got to double check because there's all sorts of schedule things going on here. So I don't know if it's going to be at 8:50 or at 9:15, but just turn your notifications on and you'll know when I come up. Latest website posts on meteorologistjoecioffi.com, Angry Ben on nycweathernow.com. And that's about it tonight, folks. I'm going to take a bit of a break. We'll see you for sure here on YouTube tomorrow, provided my voice gets a little bit better.